Welcome to this bi-weekly therapeutic yoga practice. In these videos, I will share with you practices, some yoga therapeutic yoga related practices where we look at how our movement is functioning within our body. So it's not so much about doing an actual movement and just doing it for the sake of doing it, but it's more about exploring the movement that we have, the range of motion that we have, and sensing our bodies, sensing what we're doing, sensing how it feels to never move in pain, and exploring what actual range we have without our body needing to compensate in any way. It might be that the body will compensate, which is really good if you notice that and can just be with that. It's not wrong. There's no problem with it. It's just that we're getting to know our body and our movement better. And in that way, you can also experience less pain once we understand better how we move and how movement works. And stay within the limits that our body is sharing with us. So you can come lie down on your back in constructive rest. Just take a moment to notice your body, to sense your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Noticing how they're touching the ground. If both feet are equally touching the ground, you can feel the arch of the foot. Sense the bent knees in the air. The pelvis resting on the ground. Noticing whether your lower back is curved or not. And just sensing how it is. Nothing has to change. Just notice where you are at this moment. Sensing your upper back. Shoulder blades and your upper back resting on the ground. Shoulders moving down. Sensing the arch of your neck, the weight of your head. Noticing if there are any differences between the left side of the body and the right side of the body. Maybe some more weight in your left butt cheek, in your right shoulder. Just notice it. Nothing has to change. Just become aware of where you're at now. And then notice the movement of your breath. Where can you sense that? Can you sense air flowing in through your nose, your throat, movement around the chest, the side ribs, the ribs in the back of the body, the belly, the lower back. And not because you're making it move, but just observe where you can sense the movement right now. It's all good. And then from there, you can grab a belt or anything that is similar to a belt. You can fold it and bring it into your hands about shoulder width apart. And from there, we'll start a movement. You can allow your shoulder blades to rest on the ground so you don't have to reach your arms up. It's just your shoulders are relaxed on the ground, finding support there. And from there, we'll move the arms in a direction overhead. They don't have to reach the ground, and they can't reach the ground if your shoulders stay relaxed, because at some point they will bump against a bone. They can reach the ground, but in order to reach the ground, you have to kind of reach them up, and then there's space to bring them down. But we're not going for that movement right now. We're going for shoulders on the ground and just exploring the space we have. And notice whether at some point your arms don't want to go further, but you just arc your back to make it appear that your arms are going further, but it's coming from your back. So the relationship of your arm and your shoulder isn't changing right now. So just notice which range you have, where it's really your arm bone moving in your shoulder without any cracking or grinding noises happening. Where you can breathe, where there's no pain. So maybe for you today, in this moment, it's just this kind of movement. And that's all good. Just explore where you are today. If you can notice whether the movement is fluid and equal on both sides, or whether you notice that it's kind of like this kind of thing happening. And you can close your eyes or you can look at the movement so that kind of your brain can be informed by what you're sensing, and your sensing can be informed by what you see, so that what you see is actually what's happening and what you're sensing is actually what you see. Or sometimes we have the idea that everything's going smooth and equal and we're kind of moving like this. And that feels equal to us, but once we look at it, it's kind of like, oh, something else is happening. That's interesting. And just notice if with paying attention and sensing, you can smooth the movement out, and maybe your body will give you a bit more space to move. Without forcing anything, and come back. Relax your arms a moment on the ground and just sense the after effect of the movement, what you can notice. And again, grab the belt. From there, we're going to move into something that's called prone retraction. So your hands are above your shoulders, and you're going to move it up and back down. And just notice whether there's a lot of force happening and you're arcing your back, or whether you can just move your shoulder blades and the back of your body. Your torso is fully supported by the ground and the curves of your spine don't change. So sense if there's something around your spine that's kind of changing its contact with the ground. There's going to be a little bit of a change around the shoulder blades, around the upper back, but not because the back is arching, but because the shoulder blades are moving. Notice whether you're moving your arms up or whether you can just move them up like that. Whether one arm is easier than the other, and whether it's equal. Also notice if you want to tense up around the chest, so you're kind of like your ribs, your chest falling inwards, or if your chest can stay spacious, again, it's just your arms moving. Notice whether your elbows want to bend, give you kind of that sensation of, yeah, my hands are moving away from my face, but there's nothing happening on your back. We're looking to make shoulder blades move. They might be bumping into the ground on the way back, but you can just kind of let them slide over the ground without them crawling up. Just kind of slide in and then out again. If you have the space, and again, maybe the space is really small. And this is the movement that you have right now. So just play in the space you have where you don't feel pain. And where you can breathe. Notice your breathing. Notice if there's anything happening in your jaw or in your belly that you're clenching anywhere. And again, relax the arms. Take a moment to sense. How does your body feel now? There, one other movement. You're gonna bring your index finger and your thumb together. And your arms as if you're holding a big bowl. So your arms will be like that. Your elbows slightly bent. And from there, you're gonna open the arms without changing the angle around the elbows. So again, you're just moving arm bone in the shoulder. And just notice what space you have, or if at some point your elbows just kind of go down. You can do these movements in a mirror, looking at a mirror so that you can see where you're going. And it's as if you have like a rope between your fingers that you're trying to stretch out. And again, also notice when this happens, if you want to arch because you lack space, or what else is happening. Can you breathe? Can the movement be smooth and fluid? Or is it a bit shaky? Do you feel pulling sensations around your chest? And do you need to make the movement a bit smaller to not get into too much of a stretching motion? And maybe with time, as you keep making this movement, you will get more space. So always keep exploring. Don't just stop and be like, okay, so this is the range that I have. But just as you keep moving, maybe that range can change. And again, relax the arms and notice how you feel. You can roll to your side. Have a blanket, a sturdy blanket, a thick blanket that you can turn into a roll. Make that a firm roll. And notice we're gonna lie on our side on the roll. And just notice how thick the roll needs to be for you to be comfortable. So don't be on a roll that makes you feel in pain, and have like a block or something ready maybe for your head if that ends up to be a bit, you want to have the spine and your head in line with each other. You're going to lie on your side and going to bring yourself down, and that roll will be around breast, nipple kind of height below the armpit. And you will lie on your side. So the shoulders will be stacked upon each other. Hips will be stacked upon each other, on top of each other. And your ribs will lie on the roll. You can rest your arm either like here or on here. Just sometimes it's a bit tricky to find a position that's comfortable. Then we're just going to lie on this roll. So notice if this roll is uncomfortable, painful. If it's painful, make it smaller. If it's okay and you can feel that your body can soften into the roll, then that's great. And breathe. Sense the roll. Sense your ribs pressing into the roll. And sense how you can invite your breath into where you can sense the roll. You don't necessarily have to deepen your breath. It's more like use the volume you have to create that space in your ribs around the roll. Allow the belly to move along and stay soft. And notice any other tension in your body that you can notice, that you can become aware of, and see if you can allow that to soften, or if that's just there, you can just sense that it's there. Sometimes just bringing our attention to tension can soften it. So you don't even have to do anything. It's just bringing awareness to it that can allow for change to happen. From here, bring the block to the side, bring the roll to the side, and just come back to lie on your back and sense what the after effect is of the roll. How is your sense of space for breathing? Does the right side of your body feel different compared to the left? And in what way? Can you sense that physically in your body? And then we'll change sides. So don't assume that the roll will be the same height on the other side, but try it and discover if that is true. So again, you're going to bring yourself to your side, lower yourself down onto the roll, and the roll will be around bra strap nipple kind of height. Support the head so that the head can be in line with the spine. Rest your arm, your upper arm, in a way that's comfortable. And notice whether the roll is too thick or is okay. Whether you need to change something or whether you're good. Make sure the shoulders are stacked upon each other. The pelvis. And again, just relax here if you can. Sense the roll and invite the breath you have into the ribs, into where you feel the pressure of the roll. Without necessarily deepening the breath a lot. But just kind of redirecting it. Noticing if there's any tension in other parts of your body that are popping up or that are changing. If there's tension that's being created, that's only getting worse. Maybe the roll is too thick and you need to make it a bit smaller. It's all good. Just notice what your body is doing with the input that you're giving it. Couple of more breaths here. Again, remove the block and the roll. And come back to lying your back. Again, notice the left side and the right side of the body. How are they feeling? And from here, we're going to repeat the arm movements a few times that we did in the beginning to notice how they are feeling now. You can grab your belt, bring your arms up, and again, slowly move them overhead. Sensing any cracks or resistance or spaciousness. Taking it slow, noticing whether your spine wants to get involved, your head, your jaw, any tension happening. Your elbows want to bend. And just see if you can make the movement fluent. Notice it's different from the first time you did them. And then from there, move into the prone retraction, lifting the arms up and bringing them back down. Noticing again whether your torso can stay calm and relaxed, or whether it wants to get involved, whether your elbows are bending, or whether you can really just allow the shoulder blades on the back of the body to slide over the ribs, away from the spine as your hands reach up, and towards the spine as your hands go down. Is there a lot of tension happening in your chest? And can you do it with minimal effort? Relax this movement. Bring the index finger and the thumb together, and again, you can pull the thread. Notice what space you have now as you make this movement. Allow your elbows to stay at the same angle. Noticing whether you feel a stretch in your chest and not pull through that. Noticing your breath. Noticing the space where you had the roll before, the pressure of the roll. Invite space in there. Relax your arms and just round off this small practice. Sense how your body feels now. Take your time to notice your breath, the movement of your breath, space for your breath, how your shoulders feel, how your ribs feel, how your back feels, your neck. And then I hope that you enjoyed this practice, that you've been able to notice the movement, the space your body has, and you can practice this movement more to see if you can smooth it out, can create more space by practicing it, and create more space for your breathing. And maybe if you experience tension around your shoulders, around your neck, maybe that can change as well by practicing these movements. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You can subscribe to my channel, you can leave a like, or send me a message if you have any questions or doubts. Feel free to share those as well. And I hope to see you here again next time. Have a great week.